So, for those of you who don't know or aren't aware of the fact that, some number of years ago, we lost the great Stan Lee, the creator of, Spider-Man and essentially what has become the comic book scene, Marvel, the movies, the cameos. If you're a fan of anything that Marvel or Disney Plus or so or whatever it is, you know who Stan Lee is. If you're not watching this clip already, if you haven't already turned it off, you know 100% who Stan Lee is, what he represented, his legacy, what he worked his entire life to create and promote and be proud of for. And for, kind of newcomers like me and potentially a lot of people who are just kind of fans of the creation and haven't necessarily deep dived too much into Stan Lee's life, what we have now come to know and come to understand is that, the last few years, probably the last, 10 to 15 years of Stan's life, wasn't all rainbows and sunshine, okay? There were many cases, many instances of elder abuse, mental manipulation, mental abuse. I mean, they put this man through the ringer. They milked every penny, every single ounce of energy that he had, to the point where he was falling asleep on and off stage, backstage. They just kept this man in the cogs of the machine until he inevitably passed away. R.I.P. Stan Lee. And so, we kind of sort of knew this was happening. I mean, it just using his name, whether it's his estate or people around him, the people that work for him or essentially against him. You know what I mean? They were just on his Instagram page a few years ago, slinging NFTs. We all know how that turned out. And so, you know what I mean? Like captions like, Stan Lee would have definitely wanted you to own one of these limited edition, one of 10,000 NFT Marvel Stan Lee Spider-Man type of situation. And so when basically all of this was happening, we now have learned that there is a man within the team of Stan Lee by the name of Jon Bolerjack. And basically, he was Stan Lee's assistant. He was Stan Lee's kind of right-hand man when they went and did all the Comic-Cons, the shows, appearances, movies, this, the that, the signings, the bookstores, everything that they forced this man to do, which is easy to do when he's in a wheelchair and he can't get up and just walk away. I mean, you just roll him wherever you want him to go, and he kind of has to do what you tell him to do. So this Jon character has allegedly and apparently been, not allegedly, apparently has been collecting this video library of evidence of everyone around Stan Lee, his managers, his handlers, producer people, just fans even, just people who were there just to suck the ever-living life out of this man due to the craze and fascination and overall viral sensation that he one day created a long, long time ago when he first did his first comic book. And so Jon, knowing that he couldn't really do much about it, it was just the only thing he could do was take a camera everywhere and film all of these people being nasty, manipulative, and just taking advantage of poor old Mr. Stan Lee. And so now that it's kind of been a while, and unfortunately Mr. Lee has passed away, and now, Marvel's kind of died down a bit because their new phase isn't going so well, you know what I mean?
What are we doing?
Now, this guy, Jon Bolerjack, is essentially ready to release the footage. He's ready with the footage. He's got a documentary created. He's ready to go, but he needs our help because it's on Kickstarter. And so he needs our help finishing the Stan Lee documentary. It's called the Stan Lee, the final chapter. Okay, it is an inside look at Stan Lee's tumultuous final years.
What are we doing?
Roll the clip. Tumultuous.
A tumultuous 3 years that has led to...
Okay, there it is. An insider look at Stan Lee's tumultuous final years, revealing how mistreatment and conflict threatened his life and legacy. That word, that T word, tumultuous, it just is following us around, and it is here to stay. I love it. I need everyone to start using the word tumultuous, please. Thank you. Stan Lee, the final chapter. This Kickstarter, listen, it kind of seems like we're using Stan Lee to get this $300,000 we need to finish the documentary. Seems a little exploitive.
What are we doing?
So now, listen, folks. I know what you're thinking. Just wait for a second before you go off saying things like, Levi, it seems like Jon is trying to exploit Stan Lee via his name and legacy for $300,000, doing exactly what he's claiming the people in the film are doing. He's doing it. And to that I say, hey, man.
What are we doing?
Because that's exactly what it kind of seems like. So the mere fact that this man is exposing the exploitation of Stan Lee while simultaneously using his name, estate, legacy, and everything he's done and worked for, and basically, why and when did he become his assistant? Like, why was he allowed to have all this footage? And by the way, if it was so incriminating, if it was so bad, if you have all this footage that shows mental and physical and emotional abuse towards Stan Lee, especially in the last 10 years, then why would you not hand it over to the authorities? Why would you not release it sooner? Why wait until now? And especially the number one question I think that most people are asking is why not just finish it and put it out? Because that would gain you more respect, more momentum, more of an audience, and more people would like you as a human being, Mr. Jon B. But the situation is he needs 300 grand just to hit upload.
What are we doing?
Now, of course, in the Kickstarter, he goes over everything that $300,000 is going to cover. Okay, some things like paying the crew, feeding the crew, equipment rentals, soundstage space, set construction, casting, wardrobe, hair and makeup, editing, music composition, visual effects, color correcting, sound design effects, mixing, and more. Dare I go on? Hey, why do you need any of that, Jon B? So on top of already having the footage, having the ability to film himself, he has footage already from the trailer. We're going to get to it in a second. He already has the footage of other people he's already interviewed for this documentary. So what sets are you building? Like the childhood home of Stan Lee?
What are we doing?
What soundstage space do you need to rent to release a documentary about Stan Lee? You know what I mean? Go buy some moving blankets, hang them up with clamps in your room, and you have a soundstage in your spare bedroom of your apartment.
What are we doing?
Make some DIY sound panels with installation and a couple 4x4s like we did, and then you'll have plenty of soundproof walls in your apartment. You have a buddy with an extra room you can go. You don't need, hey, why do you need hair and makeup? I woke up like this.
What are we doing?
And what visual effects do you need to finish this film, sweetheart? Because as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Jon B, you already have the interviews done. You have all the footage from Stan Lee himself, and any other visual effects you can download for free via the internet if you give someone your email address in their 30-pack of Lutz free visual effects lower thirds kit. You know what I mean, dude? Like, there's no reason. Music composition, YouTube, Stanley.com, baby. They have an entire library of royalty-free music because when you inevitably upload this documentary to YouTube, because you will, it'll be good to go. You're not going to get flagged. You're not going to need licensing. You're not going to need to pay for anything if you use their library. And by the way, no one else is flagging it, so you can upload it there too. You do not need $300,000 for exploiting, once again, someone you claim to be a friend of, Mr. Stanley.
What are we doing?
Let's just listen to this guy and see how scummy he sounds.
My name is Jon Bolerjack, and for the last 4 years of Stanley's life, I was his assistant, his confidant, but most importantly, his friend.
No, you weren't.
I traveled the world with him, witnessing firsthand the incredible highs of his legendary career, but also the heartbreaking lows. Stan spent his final years enduring mistreatment,
Falling asleep.
manipulation,
Wow.
and betrayal at the hands of a few very bad actors.
It's this guy. This is the guy. He's in all the clips. This guy. Here's a clip that's not in the. I'm pretty sure it's in the full documentary. But basically, we see this. I believe he's Asian. I don't know. We see this guy. We see this guy who's clearly a manager, some form of Stanley's entourage, as well as Jon B. With Stanley backstage at a Comic-Con or an event of some sort. And basically, which I'm sure we'll see in the full documentary, but basically, Stanley just wants to go home. He just wants to go home. He wants to take a nap. Listen to just this blatant, oh man, this poor guy.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, are you ready to give a riveting speech? You're gonna change
That's
lives.
Jon B.
I thought I was finished with that. What do I have to do now?
It's never over.
You what?
I said I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
Jon B says it's never over.
What are we doing?
Stanley just wants to go home. He wants to take a nap and he wants to sleep for the next 17 hours. But Jon B claims it's never over.
I said I thought I was finished, but apparently I'm not.
No. Once we're done, we'll get out of here.
Now what do I do here?
Same thing. Talk about you. We'll make some new questions.
But I don't have the...
Yes, you will. Yes.
You get your money's worth out of me.
Every single penny.
Penny, like 5 pennies.
You get your money's worth out of me, Stanley says, and his presumed manager says every penny. And Jon B coming in with the ringer to let Stanley know that it's not enough. We only get 5 of those pennies.
What are we doing?
You disgusting piece of shit. Hey, Jon B, knock it off. Return the money that you've already made from the Kickstarter. How much is it? Where's it at? He's already made a little over 60 grand. Return it. Shut it down. Release the documents for free. And if you don't, we're coming for you. We're going to flood the comment. It's going to be, listen, we need this. If you cannot, we cannot live in a world where this man seriously thinks he's doing the right thing. Right? Right? Like, I mean, it's just, it's one of those situations that I don't think Kickstarter should be allowed to, I think Kickstarter should shut it down. I think Kickstarter should shut it down. You know what I mean? And it's not good. It's not good, right? And I mean, even the rewards, if you look at just to just kind of to make this a grift even further, if you look at the reward section, now most Kickstarters, it would be overkill to have, like at least 10 rewards. Most Kickstarters have like a small, medium, and large. Some have a couple more than that, but more than that, it gets a little funny, okay? This Kickstarter has no less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, has at least 30 rewards. I mean, starting the smallest one, okay, is $17, and 24 idiots have already bought it. And you'll never guess what it is. You're receiving 6 exclusive postcards featuring behind-the-scenes photos captured by Jon B, with 15 unique designs in total. Each is randomly assigned, making every reward special, perfect for collectors, fans, or anyone who wants a piece of history from this intimate project. And to that I say, he's printing off 4x6s at Walgreens for $17 a piece and charging you 10x on it for $17.
What are we doing?
Screenshots from the footage that he has is what he's sending you. And it seems like the whole grift of like Stan Lee would have wanted you to have this continues from the NFT post. I'm not saying Jon B was a part of that, but it just all trickles down to the same exact thing that we have seen over and over again, and as just the essentially outer abuse of Stan Lee in the final years of his life. I mean, for what? For $100, you get a movie poster signed by the cast and crew, as if you give a shit who those people are.
What are we doing?
Who cares? But 9 people do. He's making what's fascinating is there's another one. There's right here, dude, for $500. And I'm going to be honest with you, I might contribute. I might use one of my vacations. When's this happening? December. I'm not that busy in December. I might be in Los Angeles this December, because for $500, I get a Stan Lee Los Angeles tour with the director of the movie, Mr. Jon B.
What are we doing?
But it gets better. It gets so much better, because what will happen, the description of what's going to happen that day is unfathomable. We will embark on a thrilling, one-of-a-kind tour through Los Angeles with film director Jon Bolerjack as he takes you to key locations featured in the Stan Lee documentary. Experience the city like never before as Jonathan shares behind the scenes information about Stan Lee's life, reveals the secrets from the film's production, and this is the best part, that's you, exclusively will get to visit the places where bribes were offered, schemes were plotted, and millions of dollars went missing. Stories that have never been told until right now. And this is your chance to walk in the footsteps of Stan Lee's incredible journey, uncovering the dark and fascinating moments that shaped the legend's final years. Don't miss out on this unforgivable adventure through Los Angeles, guided by the director Jon B himself.
What are we doing?
And just to sweeten the deal just a smidge, okay, the tour comes with lunch, a limited edition photo book, and a special viewing of never-before-seen footage featuring Stan Lee's travels, including cameo shoots, celebrity events, and more. Bang, baby. And of course, just so you know, travel and lodging to and from and inside of Los Angeles, not included. For only $500, you could be the only one. No one's taken the bait. No one's taken the bait on this one yet. And so basically, I think as long as crypto does good this week, we should be good to go to spend $500 on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I, myself, am going to walk in the footsteps of Stan Lee with none other than Jon B himself. So I'm excited. I'm ready. I couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of this. I mean, and it goes on and on and on, and up to $10,000. Make the ultimate contribution as a key supporter of the Stan Lee tribute film by having your name featured on the film, with recreations made possible in part by you. This tier is perfect for those who feel deeply passionate about bringing this important story to life and want to be recognized as a major contributor. Stan Lee looking down from heaven right now would have wanted you to be on that screen. Not you personally, just your name, and brought to you in part by Levi McCurdy.
What are we doing?
So I'm either going to spend $17, $500, or $10,000. I got to talk to Megs. We got some things we got to pay for first, primarily the wedding. But I think after that, if there's still time and the tier's still available, I may or may not be the #1 contributor to the Stan Lee documentation. The more I talk about it, the more I think I'm on John B's side. That's how these things always work. It starts out as a bit, but now the more I talk about it, I think it's a good idea.
What are we doing?
I'm joking. It's gross. Like, look at this.
Is there any way to get us out of that San Francisco thing? Or do you feel we gotta do it?
Gotta do it.
At the time, I didn't have the power to stop it, but I did have a camera and I filmed everything.
Whoa, watch out!
Now I'm asking for your help to finish the film and finally get justice for Stan. This documentary includes first-hand accounts from key witnesses, including comic book legends like Rob Liefeld and Roy Thomas, as well as many others who saw the chaos and unethical acts. This isn't speculation, it's all on camera.
Couldn't think of any other way to help Stan Lee and preserve his legacy, huh?
What are we doing?